Hey everyone, just wanted to show you some stuff that I've been growing here. This is all hydroponics. I've got lettuce, cilantro, strawberries down here. And I've also got a few bell pepper plants. And the thing with hydroponics is this is all grown in water. So if you look in here, this is just water sitting in there. It's fertilizer water, and plants are growing strong. I've got a few Barina grow lights, and this stuff up here is just growing in dirt. This is stuff I'm going to plant outside later, but just wanted to give everyone an update on some stuff that I've been growing, and lots of questions, and I've been talking to people about it, so just wanted to show what it's all about. So this is the fertilizers I use. It's a 3-part. So we got the master blend here. I measure that out on a little scale, and then just a regular milk jug here that I use to mix it all up. So per gallon of water, I put in 2.4 grams of this, then mix it up, and then put in 1.2 grams of the Epsom salt, and then finally I finish with 2.4 grams of the calcium nitrate. And so I just measure these all out in just a little bowl, and then use my funnel and get it in, and I leave a little room at the top so I can mix it up, and then I top it off with water at the very end. And here I have the jars that I'm actually going to be growing in. So these are just old, I don't know, spaghetti sauce jars or pickles or something. They've been washed out. I filled them up with the fertilizer water, and then right here is just for measuring out how much I'm putting water I'm filling in. This is a CZ net cup, and really this is just a nice thing to hold the plant as it's growing, so that as it's starting out, just the bottom of the roots are touching. And as you can see, I'm wrapping them in aluminum foil. This helps keep any kind of algae from growing in there. If you get algae growing, the algae will suck out all the nutrients from the water, so it will negatively impact your plants. But wrapping it in tinfoil helps keep out any kind of UV light so that algae can't grow in there. So here's some basil and lemon mint that I started here almost a month ago. I'm not sure which is which. I wrote it down and then lost track. And at this point, so I started them in just regular water. The growth so far is just nutrients that have that were stored in the seeds themselves. And now, oh, that one does not fit, but I'm just gonna drop these in here now, and these should start growing. So this type of hydroponics is called Kratky. It's named after some professor from Hawaii that came up with the method. And in this method, as the water level goes down, the roots that are at that top level get changed to oxygen roots. So plants still need oxygen to grow. I've got my little helper here. And so Kratky is definitely the easiest method to get started if you want to do hydroponics. I mean, these CZ net cups, I've seen things online of people just using like yogurt containers that they've cut out the bottom so that the roots can grow through. I've seen the little shot glass red Solo cups. Really, there's a lot of things you can do that are low cost in this method. Here I had to use an old ice cream container to hold that lid up better. And this is going to be the easiest way to get started. Some of the other stuff that I showed earlier with the peppers and the lettuce, I'm using a method called deep water culture. So I have a little 1-watt aquarium pump that's pumping air in there. And so in that method, the roots are both getting the water and the air from the same roots. In this method, it's a little simpler. Those roots. I've got my new stuff up here hanging on the top shelf. This yellow thing is just to help catch bugs that might get in the area. So the reason why I was transplanting those is because I needed to free up my seed starter so I can start 4 new things in here. I'm going to do lettuce because my lettuce down here I've been cutting and it just keeps regrowing, but starting to get pretty old, and so I'm just going to start some new stuff so that I have something to replace it with here in a while. And hopefully I'll be able to actually get that out of there without tearing out the cilantro or the strawberry roots, because if I show you here in a little bit, the roots are all tangled under there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with starting new lettuce seeds. So this is all the roots in here in this container here. This is just an old tote that I had that I spray painted black to help keep the light out. Then I have a little water line here, so I'm actually gonna top it off. And up here is the little pump I have. One goes into the peppers, and then one goes into this. And it's just adding a little bit of oxygen to the water. You can see it bubbling back there. So as you can see, it's gonna be a mess when I try to get these lettuces out and not pulling everything else. So I use these Rapid Rooter grow plugs. It's basically like a peat moss sponge. These ones are super dehydrated, so I tried to grow a whole tray of stuff earlier in the year, and I let it get too dry, and so a bunch of stuff had died. The strawberry I have here on the end actually came from that group, but I'm going to reuse them here. They're all dehydrated out, so I'm just going to soak them in some hydrogen peroxide to clean them off and then reuse them for my lettuce. So I always keep track of when I plant things and how many. So here's the Butter Crunch lettuce seeds. There's a handful of them. I've got like 22,000 seeds I started out with, so I'm not really too worried about trying to limit how many I put in, and I'll just drop a handful into each of these. I'm gonna do 2 Butter Crunch and 2 Red Romaine. So here's the final product, and this lettuce will stay in here for probably 2 to 3 weeks, and then after that I'll try to move it into the larger container, and in about a month to 6 weeks I should have some nice lettuce that I can cut and make a salad. Here's a look at some other stuff that I started. This is all going to go outside, mostly squashes. I've got yellow squash, zucchini, cucumbers, cucamelons, ground cherries, spaghetti squash, winter pumpkin, just a bunch of stuff in here. I want to give a shout out though, this humidity house and the heat pad under here. My sister Jacqueline and her husband Brian gave me for Christmas. They also gave me the Rapid Rooter grow plugs that I'm using, so shout out to them. Another shout out, this Tupperware actually came to me from the Bradleys out in Tacoma when I stayed with them back in 2013, so don't ask me how I remember that, but I do. And then also a big shout out to my parents and my grandma. They gave me these grow lights. They are off right now because I have them on a timer like this. I picked this up at Martin's, which is a local store here in Maine, and as you can see, it was $2.97. So very simplistic and cheap option, but these lights come on every morning and go off in the evening, and I don't have to deal with any of it. So one last look at all the lettuce, peppers, and then tomatoes and flowers that I've got growing right now.